welcome everyone to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. I'm your host, TJ, and with me again, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there is no shame in his game because he is always the same.
That's me.
Grumpy, how are you today, my friend?
Wonderful.
Oh, man, there is a lot going on in the world of sports. This is a reminder, though. We do these podcasts every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to make sure you don't miss out on any of the action, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. You can also follow us there on Facebook or Twitter. Grump, there is a lot going on in the world of soccer. First off, I think that's pretty much a big story here today. Euros 2020. Italy wins in penalties, Grumpy.
Deservedly so. I told you last podcast Italy was going to win this, and they carried the play today. England got off to a lead in the second minute, and they tried to park the bus for 90 minutes and wound up costing them, and the best team won. So, it is what it is.
And here's the thing, right? I think in the first half, England and Gareth Southgate had an excellent game plan going forward there, right? They didn't allow Italy to get too much set up. They really couldn't find a way to penetrate their England in any capacity. And they did that even for the most part in the second half. And it's just that corner, I think that kind of broke. I think that broke the floodgates open there for them because Italy then really started to press after that time period. And it was a fluky goal, albeit. But if you're thinking who carried the action, I want to say Italy carried the action for the most part during the first 90. And then, overtime was kind of split back and forth, in my opinion. Yeah,
and Italy, I think, wound up having possession 62, 63%. And the biggest thing was Spinazzola, who had been outstanding in this tournament. He tore his Achilles in the last game. And that actually 2 games ago, I'm sorry. And that wound up, it hurt him against Spain. And I think it hurt their attack again today. But they're just better than England. The thing that I found the most interesting was you see Gareth Southgate, who's the coach of England, winds up subbing two guys off in the last 2 minutes of extra time getting ready for penalties, and they both miss.
He subs on. Well, here's the thing, right? And that's one of those items where we're going to kind of talk about. I mean, Southgate subs on Rashford. He subs on Jordan Sancho, and both individuals miss their penalties. Here's the issue I've got with all that. I think Southgate mismanaged his substitutions in the worst way possible. I don't dislike Saka. I think, though, as soon as you subbed on Jack Grealish, it was noticeable in extra time there that he really was able to take control and help. He was a little bit of an impetus to get some England offense going. It's the same thing, too. I believe Rashford and Sancho, I would have subbed over Saka any day of the week, and you just kind of left scratching your head. I'm like, I know the young Arsenal kid there, 19 years old, might be some of the future, but man, oh man, I like what I see in Sancho at Borussia Dortmund, and I like what I see in Rashford at Man United.
Yeah, I don't think Saka's ready for this big moment. He has incredible pace. I think it was really a colossal blunder to have him take the fifth penalty kick. I mean, he's 19. I mean, I just think the moment got too big for quite a few of them, honestly. But once again, the better team won. I mean, I'm not a fan of penalties to decide a championship, but the better team won today, so I have no problem with it.
Let's go Italy.
Yeah, and I did predict them to win.
Well, here's the thing. I know you're saying, hey, it's unfortunate that penalties for you to sub on individuals. Again, Rashford is, he's no spring chicken. He's got some experience under his legs, and same with Sancho. But man, oh man, just to sub them on there with 2 minutes left. And for the most part, these are guys you have not utilized much at all the entire tournament. And you're saying, hey, we need you to go ahead and hit a penalty right here at the end. I'm just kind of left baffled by it. I know Phil Foden didn't play that very well there. He
didn't play at all today.
Yeah, thanks, Grump. I was going to get to that. He didn't play very well in the group. That's why he didn't play today, grumpy old man. But I'm sorry. I'm thinking there towards the end, you've got to make those subs in order to really help to strive the team forward. I mean, you park them in the back like that. I mean, like I know you take off Trippier, At like around the 60th some odd minute, you put on Saka. I just thought it was a bad sub at that time period. Not opposed for Saka playing in any capacity, but man, oh man, I thought the penalties, who they lined up out there with penalties, was just a bad order. I mean, Harry Kane taking your first, that's a guy who needs to be taken the fourth or the fifth pen because he's got so much experience. He's supposed to be your rock. And again, maybe he takes the opinion of, hey, we go ahead and roll him out there first. Hopefully we get an early lead, and it allows everybody else to kind of get that breath of fresh air when they're up there taking their penalty.
Well, the first two guys came up and hit their penalties. They missed the last three. It's for me, it's he should know who his best penalty. I mean, if he feels that Rashford and Sancho are two of his better penalty kickers, no problem. I don't have a problem with it. I think he should have brought them on a little bit earlier to get them a little bit ingratiated in the flow of the game. He brings them on in like the 119th minute, and they have to defend a corner kick, and they take out Walker, honestly, I think Walker's pretty good on penalties. I'm just surprised at who they took out. I didn't have an issue with the Saka coming in for Trippier, to be honest with you. They were thinking about bringing on some fresh legs. They kind of started to park the bus after the second minute, and it wound up costing them. They just should have continued attacking. That's one thing. It drives me crazy when you see teams get a lead, and all of a sudden, okay, we're going to change what we do best, particularly if it's an attacking style, just trying to protect the one-goal lead. I just think I don't like it. I think a lot of times it hurts you, and it certainly hurt England today.
Yeah, one person also was kind of disappointed with his play today. And, I'm sure you're going to have some England fans. They might go to bat there for Harry Kane. But man, oh man, did he look absolutely invisible today. I know they might say, oh, well, Bonucci and Chiellini, they were out there roughing him up. I saw Kane on the ground an awful lot. This ref was not calling anything. He was letting him play out there tonight. And as Harry Kane, you notice that immediately. All right. So it's like, how do I go ahead and overcome that? Because he wasn't calling it on either side. I mean, he was keeping, the whistles and the cards in the pocket almost all game long. And if you're sitting there in that aspect, you have to go ahead and overcome. And I just don't think Harry Kane did all that much. Again, he wasn't provided much support. And when Sterling did have chances, he was able to kind of dice through, the Italian defense. But still, I was hoping for more of a show and performance from Harry Kane tonight. Yeah,
the issue with, I'll mention Sterling first, he can't finish. I mean, that's always been his issue. I mean, tremendous pace. He's silky smooth with his moves when he gets in the box, but he just can't finish. And that's been his whole career. Harry Kane, I can't think of a guy more overrated in English soccer than Harry Kane. I mean, they've been pumping him since he's been a kid. How great he is, I don't know. To me, in the big moment, this penalty kick notwithstanding, he just always seems to shrink in the big occasion. And it's not a surprise to me at all. Like I said, the best team won. I don't have a problem with it whatsoever.
Well, I want to ask you this, right? You see shelf life for soccer coaches and managers are extremely short, especially when, hey, we have expectations that you're going to do X, Y, Z, and you don't accomplish that. My big overarching question is, let's say next year in international play, England does not get off to a good start. I mean, do you think Southgate's job is up? I know he made it to the finals this year, but sometimes you see that with teams that make it all the way. Hey, we get up to the top of the mountain, we just can't finish it. Sometimes you see that with teams where they'll let their manager go because play kind of slips off. Do you think that might happen with England going forward here?
No. See, here's the thing: England has been taking incremental steps up. Okay, it's still a golden generation of talent for them. They've wound up incorporating a lot of younger players too. I don't think he's at any risk for getting fired from his job. Regardless of some of Jack Grealish to me should be a guy who should play a little bit more. That's the big one. But, they've all been saying that, but he's been getting the results. You're talking about a 1-goal game in penalties. If they want up winning in penalties, no one's even talking about his job. That's why I think he's safe for now.
That is true. That is true. Eli also commenting in saying, are you guys following the Gold Cup? USA plays tonight. Hopefully we can get a win. The tournament starts since Mexico slipped up yesterday. They drew Trinidad and Tobago 0-0.
Yeah, I don't know. Does that mean that Mexico's out. I have not been following that.
It's in the group stages, so no, it's
Okay.
it's in the group stages as of right now. We play tonight. We play Haiti. Then on Wednesday, or I'm sorry, on Thursday, we play again there. So that's it's, and then we're gonna play Thursday and then Sunday. So that's gonna be the group stage here.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I know we beat Mexico.
We're not playing Mexico. We're not playing Mexico. It's a group stages right now. But are you keeping track? He's always asking. Mexico slipped up. They drew Trinidad and Tobago. So he's talking seeding wise, I think.
I understand. I'm looking bigger picture. I know we beat Mexico in the CONCACAF finals a month or so ago, which was a big accomplishment for us because they always beat us. So I wonder, Chucky Lozano also got hurt in the Mexico game, and that'll say more about how far they go as opposed to us. I mean, I'm not going to say we're in the driver's seat, but we're certainly one of the favorites to win, for certain.
Absolutely. Alexander also saying, I can't believe the ending to that game. It was a crazy ending. For certain it was. Donnarumma stood up on his head. Pickford did an excellent job. I'm not a big Jordan Pickford guy. I like Nicky Pope. I'm not a big fan of Jordan Pickford. He did a good job in net there today. And Donnarumma was excellent. Excellent there.
Why do you like Nick Pope?
He's a Burnley guy. I'm a Burnley fan, Grumpy.
Who the hell roots for Burnley? I don't even think the Burnley players' moms root for them.
That's it, Grump. That's it. Alexander also saying, I hope you guys are doing well. And TJ and Grump, did you see the England player? I think he's talking about Saka getting death threats after the game. Yeah, so I all the time. I don't know why they do that. I don't know why people do that stuff on the internet.
Because they're so passionate, right? They're so passionate about their team. Usually that's South American teams. I remember when Carlos Escobar was murdered when in the I want to say 1994 World Cup in the United States. It was an own goal that he put in, which knocked Colombia out. And they executed him. I mean, they take their soccer serious in some of these countries. I'm surprised in England, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'll tell you. I hate when you see stuff like that. Again, there should be no death threats there to those type of guys. Man, oh, man.
They're not trying to miss. Come on.
It's okay. When it comes down to it, it's a silly game. It's a game we all love, but it's a game nonetheless. I've never understood the death threats and taking it that serious. I mean, like there's a certain line that you draw. I mean, you can't control what's going on out there in the pitch, and neither can anybody else unless you're playing on the team.
Without a doubt. I mean, like I said, I'm used to seeing those type of things in South American countries, not European though.
Yeah, grumpy old man. Yeah, moving right along there. Also, Adrian saying, "Yo, what's up, guys?"
Adrian, we did it.
Oh, we did it. And then John M saying the Mets just got a steal in the MLB draft there. Kumar Rocker, the 6'5" beast there from Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
right. MLB draft going on right now.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the steal of the draft, but it's a good pick for the Mets. The Mets, every organization is able to. They do well historically do well at picking certain players. For the Mets, it's always been pitchers, always.
Yeah, the Mets have really, really excelled there in being able to identify pitchers there and able to groom them to where they're playing the top levels. I mean, Jack Leiter went number 2 overall there. I mean, they're having quite a few of those Vanderbilt guys taken off the list kind of early. I mean, they knew Rocker was going to be earlier, so I think him slipping to 10. I think it's a good value pick, though, for the Mets.
Yeah. Like I said, he's not – to me, that's a no-brainer pick there. I'm wondering why he slipped to 10, though. Honestly, is there something in his background? The kid was phenomenal. And you're right. Vanderbilt was the best team in college, regardless of the championships. They were the best team in college baseball this year. And he was, they were expecting their guys, him particularly, to go top 5 without a doubt. I'm just wondering why he slipped 10. I'll do some research on that.
The reason why they're saying he slipped to 10 is because he had a little bit of a velocity dip he experienced earlier on this year. So, and again, they said his changeup's underbaked. As well as there's concerns with, his repertoire and his arsenal there when he's out there. And will it be able to, withstand the big league hitters? So that's what
like I said, you're not expecting him to step right in and pitch.
Yeah, the Mets don't need that either.
Well, actually they do. They got their pitching staff has been decimated. Should be getting Carlos Carrasco back by the end of the month. That'll be big get for them.
Okay, when I'm talking healthy though, that's not. I mean, like when the pitching staff is healthy.
Yeah, true. I agree.
It's not like, hey, it's a team that has no pitching on a healthy day. You know, when they're decimated with injuries, they're even worse off. So, I mean, like, again, when healthy, that staff, I think, is pretty good starting pitcher-wise. Yeah, moving right along there. Alexander also saying, teaching Grumpy, not sure if you saw, but a huge loss there for the Braves. Ronald Acuna, devastating loss there.
Yeah, I know. How often do you see a torn ACL on a baseball player? Not too often.
Not very often.
No, I mean, he's obviously lost for the year, right? He's probably going to miss a little bit of next year as well. Don't know how much, but he's certainly going to miss some of next year. And then you wonder how it affects his speed. I mean, he's a 5-tool player. So, you know, I'll be interested to see what he looks like when he comes back. But he's going to be out a year. So, you know, does Atlanta feel, do we even need to bring him back next year? Who knows?
What?
Well, it depends on where they are in the standings. Maybe they want to get him footed. I'm sure they're not going to rush him back. That much I can tell you.
Okay. Fair enough, Grumpy. Yeah, that being said, again, I did see that huge loss. The last time I can think of a baseball player tearing their ACL, maybe because it's the way he did it. Do you remember when Salvador Perez tore his ACL picking luggage up at the airport? Do you remember that, Grumpy?
Well, I'm not talking about something like that. I'm talking about, you know, injuries on the field.
It's so rare. It's so rare that baseball players tear their ACLs that is the most notable one I can think of.
Yeah, luggage-related injuries are not up there in high. You know, it just doesn't happen a whole lot.
Okay, Grumpy. That being said, moving right along there, and then Eli saying Yankees choked again, but 2-1 against Houston isn't bad. I'll take it.
Houston walked, I think, 14 batters today. Think about that. And they scored 6 runs in the 9th inning to beat the Yankees. And, of course, our pal, Altuve, hits the game-winning home run, rips his shirt off. I know Yankees fans hate him as one of the main perpetrators in the banging the trash can saga for Houston. And I know it's a sore spot for Yankee fans, and he got you today. That's all I'll say.
Absolutely, Grumpy. Yeah, Alexander also saying Syndergaard should be back by September.
Maybe.
And you talk about the pitchers. Yep, you look at Seaver there, Gooden, Rod Darling there, Matt Harvey, Jacob deGrom. The list goes on and on with, you know, the pitchers that the Mets have created and groomed there. Also, John M saying the reason why he slipped is because teams were reaching before the Mets picks.
Yeah, see, I don't understand why they do that, particularly because the players are so far away from the major leagues. You just go with the best talent. That's my thought on it. I mean, I don't even think you draft a position for the most part, particularly if you're picking like high school kids. I mean, and a lot of these are high school kids. I realize he was a college player, but still, it's like, man, you got a guy with that type of talent staring you right in the face and you just let him go. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Also, Alexander saying, I really think the Mets are going to run with the division now with Acuna out. Yeah, I think, you know, they're in a driver's seat. And again, it's all about the injury management. That's the biggest thing there for the Mets for certain going forward.
Rojas has done a great job. And that pitching staff has been decimated. You know, I mentioned Syndergaard potentially coming back in September. He was supposed to be back by now, and he wound up having elbow soreness again. So who knows? I mean, I think he's back to throwing again, but who knows if he'll be back. And depending on where the Mets are, they might just say, you know what, we're just going to let you ride it out till next year. They could possibly say that.
Fair enough, Grumpy. Fair enough there. I'm going to also show you here. Now, this last thing about the Euros, these are some of the scenes there. Oh, man. Fans trying to get to storm and get into the game to watch the Euro 2020 and to try to get to the fan zone. So what you're seeing here is yikes, a colossal bit of humanity just trying to burst their way through, trying to see that game. Man, oh man, you want to talk about.
You know what? If I'm one of the cops, I'm saying I'm not getting paid enough for this gig.
Oh, don't you worry. Don't you worry. I got something there for that. I saw a meme online that I think you'll really enjoy. But just look at this, man. Storming through. Oh, you're right. The security and the cops do not get paid enough there for this. And I would be just kind of strolling around being like, yeah, it's not my job to fight all these individuals off.
They're getting overwhelmed. They're getting overwhelmed.
Yeah. Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. And again, it kind of brings up something I'm thinking of, Grumpy. Uh, I saw online, so I'll go ahead and share this there to you. I mean, if you're a cop, here it is. I mean, you're thinking to yourself, I'm like, man, oh man, London Copper's on duty right now. It's not coming home. Oh, can you only imagine tonight, now that England didn't win, how worse it's going to probably be in the streets?
Yeah, that's a good show you put up. That's Line of Duty. It's an English show. Pretty good. I highly recommend watching if you get a chance. It's on Amazon Prime. I think the first five or six seasons. We enjoy it.
Fair enough, Grump. Fair enough. Can't say I've ever watched it. Maybe I'll check it out. Who the heck knows? That being said, Rojas cost us the game today. Talking about the Mets there. Alexander and Rojas cost us the game.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you what. Regardless of that, he's done a great job in his first year as Mets manager. I don't think anyone could. I don't think anyone can say anything about that. He's done a really good job, really keeping the ship floating. I like.
He also says Carrasco is a free agent this year, Grumpy,
and so is Syndergaard at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So that's you're saying that's what I'm saying. You said their pitching is good, and it normally is, but they're going to have some help. I just don't know how soon before that kid's going to be ready to jump into a major league staff. I figure he's at least a year and a half away.
Yeah, I'm saying here it is. I mean, like the pitching staff we've got, I mean, I think it's still pretty solid. I mean, like hell, anything. And you throw out DeGrom. I mean, best pitcher out there in MLB right now. And again,
his numbers are rivaling Bob Gibson's numbers. That was the year that they raised the mound for Major League Baseball, and he was godly, Bob Gibson. I know you've heard the name, but I'm sure you never saw him pitch. He was just super intimidating for the St. Louis Cardinals back in the day. And just to see DeGrom's numbers, I mean, they say like 14 or 15% of his pitches are over 100 miles an hour. It's like incredible. I mean,
the consistencies he's got, and I'm telling you, hey, Grumpy, I'm telling you, he keeps up that pace, and he can pitch a few more years. Hall of Fame, Grumpy. Anyway, moving right along there, Aaron G, they're saying the Tigers just can't beat the Minnesota Twins right now. They lead in all 4 of their games, and they just blow it.
Well, tells me the back end of their bullpen isn't real good, right? That's all you can say.
Yeah, and also Alexander says, yeah, Syndergaard can get arbitration this year too.
I thought he was past arbitration. I thought he was unrestricted. Maybe I'm wrong.
Anyway, moving right along there. Also, something worth mentioning here today, Grumpy. Messi finally gets his first international trophy. They win Copa America. I see you shaking your head already, Grump. Why are you shaking your head, my friend?
Because I don't good for him. Good for him. He was not instrumental in that victory. Missed a chance to seal the game. They play on those high school fields down in Brazil or wherever it is they were playing. It was a nightmare. I mean, the refereeing was just brutal in that match last night. Just absolutely brutal. All they talk about, the whole Messi getting his only all right, it's a tournament. Messi getting his first tournament win with Argentina. They play the same freaking seven teams every 4 years. It's not like the World Cup. It's not like the Euros. It's like getting guys who live around your block and playing every 4 years. I mean, and he hasn't been able to do it all these years. And he didn't do it yesterday. It was one thing, borderline offsides call. Why do they have VAR? I have no idea. Di Maria, just a nice little flick over the top of the goalie, and that's your game. I mean, but the referee was just absolutely hideous, just hideous.
Grumpy, tell me how you really feel.
I feel sometimes the TV, it's almost like they have an agenda. And I'm not saying that it was the same way in Euros, but my gosh, England had a breeze to the finals, an absolute breeze to the finals.
For certain.
And, and then you see some of the fouls that were called today and were not called. And it's like, man, are they rooting for England? Why are we doing this? I mean, all they talk about, and I love the English announcers. I really do, except when England's playing, because their bias comes through and it just kind of drives me a little crazy. Other than that, I just absolutely love the English announcers because they're not afraid to call players and teams out.
Okay. Well, Grumpy, I'll tell you this. I think you're off on that take. No, I think it was they pretty much just let him play today. I don't think there was a bad officiating there in the Euros. I mean, maybe you could say, hey, in Copa America, the finals, that maybe tiny bit of questionable calls here and there. That being said, Messi did win first, major international tournament he's ever won. And here's the thing, right? Like him, hate him. I will tell you one thing. You see him celebrating after the game, and you could tell he is obviously overjoyed here with this. This meant a lot there for him, grumpy old man. So, I mean, like, that's one of those things, too, where, I mean, like, you could tell he was just like, see the smile, the ear-to-ear smile on his face is something else, too, throughout this entire process. He was elated. And here's the thing. I'm not a Messi guy. I recognize his greatness, but still, in the same token, good for him.
Yeah, I'm glad he won the neighborhood tournament. Really impressive.
Goodness gracious. The neighborhood tournament. Is that what it's going to be called there? Is that what the Copa America is going to be called for you, the neighborhood tournament?
It's the same 8 teams every 2 years. It's like winning CONCACAF. Who cares? It's Mexico, United States, Honduras, Trinidad, Tobago, the same teams every year. Who cares? You don't even have to play a tournament to get in. You just show up. Oh, you want to know how you get in that tournament? You live in a certain geographical location. That's how you get in. I mean, there's no competition. Those they all suck, all of them. The Euros, you have to actually beat teams to get in the tournament. And then think about how many teams were in that tournament, right? There were 24 teams in that tournament to start. How many were in Copa America? 8. How many are in the Gold Cup? 6. How many is in CONCACAF? 6. I mean, I don't know what those titles mean. They're, like I said, they're neighborhood tournaments. That's what they are.
The Gold Cup, I believe, is actually 16.
Okay.
16 teams, but you get teams like Qatar, Jamaica, Honduras, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala. You get a lot of teams from all over the place. Nothing necessarily huge name ticket items or anything like that. Aaron G also said, "I love it when Grumpy rants. It makes me laugh. It makes my day."
That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. Make people happy.
I will tell you about Copa America. Yeah, I think you're underplaying it a little bit there, Grumpy. I mean, hell, you look at it, Brazil's a very, very worthy adversary. So is Argentina. Colombia is a good adversary. Chile can also do it a little bit. It's not the same quality of the Euro for certain, but don't compare it to the Gold Cup. Come on now.
Uruguay.
Uruguay's good too.
Bolivia, Peru. I mean, come on, they're not great soccer countries. I'm sorry, they're not. It's the neighborhood tournament. That's what it is. It's the neighborhood tournament. South America, there's your neighborhood tournament. I mean, do you have to play anybody to get in? No. Same teams get in every 4 years. Same teams. And Messi's choked it away how many times? I mean, like I said, he had a chance to salt the game away. Couldn't seal the deal. And I'm not saying he's not an excellent player, because he is. But there's something called having a clutch gene. He ain't got it. I'm just going to tell you that much.
I want to ask you, did you happen to see last night's UFC fight between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier?
No, I know what happened, though.
Man, oh, man. Obviously, a brutal injury. We're not going to show the injury or anything like that.
I haven't seen it, so I'd like you to post it if you haven't.
You want me to show the injury?
I don't know. Maybe some people haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I know he broke his leg, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, he had his foot was on the ground, and so was his shin.
Oh,
and his shin was acting as a peg leg, and another part of his leg was just laying completely flat there to the ground.
Okay, well, we don't have to show it then.
I'm just saying, I do want to show you. We don't have to show necessarily the clip there of it. I guess everybody's commenting to show it. We will. But I wanted to talk about what he had said after the fight. Again, mind you, this is Conor McGregor after the fight's just been ruled there over by medical TKO, and he's still talking shit. I don't know if you happen to hear it, but man, oh man, that guy is such a shit talker.
Well, I was hoping that this actually would be the end of him, so I don't have to hear him anymore. He's a jerk. Let's be honest. Conor, he's a moron.
I don't dislike Conor McGregor.
Oh, I think he's a loudmouth clown. He's a moron. Like I said, I hope his career is over. Okay, I wish him not to make money. I just don't want to hear him anymore. Just shut up. He's what I hate about athletics. Anybody just like that, just showboating this, that, always talking about yourself like you're just shut up. Just shut up before I break your other leg. That's what his opponent. I don't know what he said, but his opponent's gonna be shut up before I go out there and snap your other leg.
Jesus Christ, Grumpy.
Good for Poirier. But I will say one thing about those fights. It's a tough sport. But once you see a guy get beat and that invincibility cloak is taken off him, they're usually kind of finished for the most part.
And I did want to show you the comments, Grumpy. Here's the thing. I disagree a little bit. I like Conor McGregor. I think he could be a little over the top at times, but I think that's what makes him so appealing there for some. I almost look at it as like an act. I don't think he can really be that way. I know he is that way, but I almost look at it as an act. I've seen him fight old gentlemen in bars because they wouldn't drink his whiskey and they turned they turned him up like that and he punched somebody in the face. I know he's had a lot of run-ins before. He acts really childish. But man, oh man,
Mike said he's a jerk.
I tell you one thing. There is one thing I could promise you about Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor has done more good for UFC than bad. That is for certain. He's brought more eyes to UFC than anybody else has done before.
I agree with that. Yes. I mean, but like I said, what's he like 130 pounds? What's he, 5'4"? He's a borderline midget, right? I mean, just get a regular sized human out there, just smack him around a little bit. He won't talk so tough.
Okay, well, here I'll let you listen to this. This was post fight, as you could tell. Grump, they've got the medical official here. They've got his leg has already been splinted up. I'll let you listen to it.
Obviously, stopped in a horrible way. Give us your thoughts on how it was going.
I was boxing the bleeding head off him, kicking the bleeding leg off him. Usual side dive to close the distance. This is not over. If we have to take this outside with him, it's all outside. We don't give a bollocks.
Okay, so number one, I know he's hard. He's got a thick accent, man. He's hard to kind of understand after he's been fighting like that. I'm sure his adrenaline's pumping through the roof. He wants to come back and fight, though, is what I take from that, Grumpy, and we'll continue here, though.
He said that he believes that one of the kicks that he checked is what broke your leg.
There was no check. There was not one of them I checked. Your wife is in me DMs. Hey, baby, hit me back up on chat you later on. We'll be at the after party, the Win nightclub, baby. You're looking big, you little hoe.
Do you know what the DMs are, Grumpy?
I don't know. It sounds like he's talking mad shit about the guy's wife. If I was him, I went over there and put him in a figure 4 leg lock. Come on, let's go. Let's go, hot shot. So, I'm glad he broke his leg. Now. I hope he loses his leg. I got no problem with that either. Why don't you hop it on over here now, buddy?
Oh, my goodness. Well, the
DMs should walk around with a little limp when he comes to Joe Theismann walk at him. Like I said, I hate him. He's a big mouth clown. He's a clown. I hate guys like that. Absolutely hate guys like that. A me showboater. Hate guys like that. Here's the thing. I'd root for anybody over him. Anybody.
Yeah, Khabib also shared
aliens from another planet over him.
You root for the 1980s Russians, right, Grumpy?
Absolutely, I would.
Well, Khabib, obviously, he was like, hey, the evil's now out or anything like that. He's not a big fan of McGregor either. I know he's beaten McGregor there in the past. So the DMs, Grumpy, just to kind of translate that for you, essentially is like when you message somebody on either Twitter or
direct message.
That's
so what was he saying about direct messaging his wife?
He's saying his wife was direct messaging him. He's like, yeah, your wife's in my DMs. Something like that, saying his wife is direct, like private messaging him, Grumpy. So like he's trying to take a little shot. Here's the thing. You talk about the gall. Again, like I like Conor McGregor. I know some people don't. I know he does a lot of wrong, but I've just got this soft spot. What can I say for him? But yeah, I mean, like he's talking a lot of shit for being a guy who just snapped his leg in half.
Let's go. Like Poirier said, come on, let's go. Bring it. Hop on over here if you can. Come on, Hoppy.
Anyway, I'll let the last little bit finish up here.
Fuck him.
Oh,
Conor, you missed with a punch and stepped back. Tell us what you felt. Tell us what you thought was going on.
Just the thing had separated and my blade landed on the wonky leg like Anderson Silva at the time. Something similar to that. It's a fucking mad out business. Fuck's sake.
Listen, it was a wild fight for as long as it lasted. I'm sure you'll be back, and I'm sure you're going to want Dustin again, and I'm sure he'll oblige you. Yeah.
So go ahead, Grum.
The funny thing is, I remember Joe Rogan when he had hair, and he used to be on, not the podcast, he used to be on a TV show called News Radio, and he played like a fix-it man in a radio station. Dave Foley was the star of that, and Phil Hartman. That's going way, way, way back. And I even think Kathy Griffin was on that show.
He's done a lot of acting gigs there. I know he was Fear Factor for a while. I know that was more recent. He did he played like baseball or something like that in a TV show that he was on too. And he talks about it on his podcast. I like listening to Joe. I like Joe Rogan too. But let me ask you this. He says he seems adamant he's coming back. The injury was pretty brutal. Let me ask you this, Grumpy. Do you think he'll be back in the octagon?
He'll be back. What else is he going to do? I'm sure he's got like maybe a, I don't know, second grade education at best. I mean,
okay, well, you know the story of Conor McGregor. He used to work as a trades, like a plumber. So again, he's not a guy who was he was not, a highly educated individual. I mean, here's the thing also about Conor McGregor. He turns 33 on, what is it? He turns 33 on Wednesday this week. Do you think a guy like that, 33 years old, I mean, that's going to be major reconstructive surgery there to get his leg back in order. Do you think that is? I'm not sure. He says he wants to come back, but man, I mean, he'd be 33 years old, buddy. Hang it up. You've proven enough. You've been excellent for a short time. You were excellent for a time period. Hang it up. He
should have plenty of money. I mean, I know he got beat up by who was it?
Floyd Money Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather, who was like 75 years old and gave him a beating. Think about that. And Floyd Mayweather couldn't hurt a fly, and he managed to knock him out. I mean, whatever. Come on. Who cares? Is he going to come back? Yeah, he'll come back because he doesn't know anything else to do.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying, man, oh man. I
don't know how much money he saved. Here's the guy. Most guys like that, big loudmouths like that, they're not good with their money. They're too busy trying to spend it. Look at me. Look at me. I'm Floyd, whatever his name is. Conor McGregor. Look at me. I sell whiskey. Woo, woo.
Oh, look at you, Grumpy. Alexander also said, Dana White there said that a Poirier McGregor 4 is not off the table. Yeah, I was about to say, I'm just not sure he's going to be able to come back.
Well, let's wait till we see Conor McGregor get that leg off the operating table before we say
John P says Forza Italia, Forza Italy.
Yeah. It's funny. I told my son, I watched the first Italy game. I said, watch out for Italy. I felt they were the best team. I thought they were going to win. Even when they played Belgium, I just think Italy has something in their DNA that they don't shrink from the big moments. Not saying that they can't get beat, but historically, they don't shrink from the big moments. Roberto Baggio accepting in the 1994 World Cup, missing a penalty. And I knew they beat Belgium because Belgium just can never find a way to win a big match. And I just thought just the way they played, they didn't deserve to beat Spain. Spain was outplayed. Spinazzola, like I said, was a huge loss. But I just thought they were infinitely better than England going into this match, even with Spinazzola out. And the better team won today. So good for them. And the fact that they play a really direct game offensively, which has not been Italy's MO for the last, 30 years or so, was defense. But to see them change a little bit with the younger players up top, it's nice to see. And as a neutral, they're really enjoyable to watch. I love teams that go for it. I just do.
Yeah. Eli also saying USA just scored. I did get that notification. USA up 1-0.
Okay. They'll probably win 6-0. Who cares?
Well, Grumpy, hey, it's all about growing the sport in the United States, isn't it? That's what they say.
It's not going to happen.
Joe Rogan hosting Fear Factor. I do remember that there.
Fear is not a factor for you.
Vince McMahon wanted him in the WWE ring.
Because he's a loudmouth. He'd fit right in.
Yeah, well, talking about McGregor. Yeah.
Okay. He has more charisma than anybody in the WWE right now. That much I can tell you.
He's an order. And here's the thing, right? You think about how different he is than Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar could not speak to save his life. He's just not a guy who's very adept at that skill. Where McGregor, and again, both coming from the UFC, McGregor has the gift of gab.
Yeah, it's funny how times have changed, right? Back in the olden days, if you couldn't speak, they gave you a manager. You got teamed with a manager who could do your talking for you. And good guys. There was good guys. The baby faces would just come out. They could just give a real vanilla. I'm going to fight him as hard as I can, and it's going to be a battle out there. But the bad guys had to sell, and if they couldn't speak, well, geez, that's why they had guys like the Grand Wizard of Wrestling, Captain Lou Albano, Classy Freddie Blassie, Mr. Fuji, who he could barely speak English too, but just that evil Japanese persona out there, Bobby the Brain Heenan. I mean, these guys were great. And what's the role of the manager, right? To get over their talent. And that's what you don't see now. You look at guys, they can barely speak. I mean, everything is scripted for them. Wrestling is dead, as we know it, just absolutely dead. They killed it. When they admitted that it was a work, that's when it was the end of wrestling. You always knew deep down that wrestling, was a work. You always kind of knew it, but you still that little suspension of disbelief right there. I mean, now it's like, no, they even tell you, well, hey, this is the way we have to. Nobody's even allowed to ad lib off of their promos. The TV writers come in and write this up. I mean, let these guys do what they do best. Let them ad lib. That's how you come up with great wrestlers. Could you even name 5 wrestlers today? I mean,
Jeez, Grump, I'm not sure.
They're pushing the women's division. How bad is it that they got to push a women's division where the women are more interesting than the men? Think about that.
Jesus Christ. Aaron G there said, any thoughts on the Open Championship for golf this week?
Golf sucks.
I was about to say, the last time I saw anything related to golf was when that individual was finishing up. I believe it was going to go into the last day. He couldn't finish on the 18th hole because he found out that through contact tracing or somehow he was positive there for COVID, had to withdraw from the tournament. I don't know. I don't follow golf enough, but I do know there were some issues with that not too long ago.
Okay. I don't mean to bag too much on golf. I do like the U.S. Open. I don't know why. I don't really watch the Masters every year, maybe because it's too early and there's other things to do. But I do usually like the U.S. Open and sometimes the British Open. But there's no, hey, this guy's destined to win. There's a lot of guys who have the opportunity to win. There's no more Jack Nicklaus's or Tiger Woods or, name whoever, Arnold Palmer's, guys who dominated the sport. They're just not that anymore. So, it kind of loses some appeal there.
Well, I've got another image I want to show you, kind of shifting gears a little bit here. Now we're going to shift to some hockey news here, Grump. I've got this for you. And maybe, I'll play devil's advocate. Maybe he's just kind of saying to stick it there to you. Kucherov has been making waves here with post-game comments as well as just recently here today. Coming out there, you see that type of shirt he's wearing, Grump?
I cannot see the whole thing.
So I want you to look at it, Grumpy. Okay, you can't see. That says $18 million over the cap. Is what the shirt says. And he's got a little Lombardi trophy there and a Stanley Cup there. Oh, man. I'm sure he's saying F you there to the haters, I guess.
Well, you know what? There's nothing that he's in that picture that is a lie. Not one thing.
That is true, Grumpy.
They're the Stanley Cup champions. They're the Super Bowl champions. And they were $18 million over the cap. I have no problem with that. Is what it is.
Alexander also saying the good old wrestlers there. The Heartbreak Kid, Triple H, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, the Attitude Era.
Yokozuna.
Yokozuna. Yeah, well, Yokozuna got to be teamed with. He was with Jim Cornette. He was another great manager. He was with Mr. Fuji, I think, for a while. Yeah, he was definitely with Mr. Fuji for a while. And I think he might. No, I think just those two. I don't know if he was Jimmy Hart or not. Unfortunately, he's dead, passed away. But, just think about it. Those guys were all in the Attitude Era, right? Where they just let them kind of do what they wanted to do. They let them push the envelope on things. That's when they were losing the Monday Night Wars to the WCW, which was the World Championship Wrestling, owned by Ted Turner. It was on TBS, a Superstation. And, Vince owned WWF/WWE. And they were battling for their lives, and they had to push the envelope, and they let guys like The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Triple H was. I mean, he wound up. Here's the thing: you marry the boss's daughter, somehow you're going to get pushed to the moon. That's all I'm saying. I never thought he was as great as those other guys. I don't think he put asses in the seats like Stone Cold and The Rock. That's for certain.
For certain. They're also saying there Yokozuna was a cousin to The Rock, by the way. Also,
Yeah.
Rock's dad was a wrestler. I know that too.
Yep.
Roman Reigns' dad was a member of the Wild Samoans.
Yeah, they're all from the Inouye family. All of them. The Samoans from Hawaii. All of them. The Rock. Samoa Joe is not. He's the only one that's not. And it's amazing that he never got the push in WWE. But all those other guys were from Afansica, High Chief Peter Maivia, going even a little bit further back than that. And Rocky Johnson married High Chief Peter Maivia's daughter, and The Rock was their son. And High Chief Peter Maivia, his wife, and he had the promotion, the local. This when they still had local promotions, had that in Hawaii, and that's where a lot of those guys came from. And Samoans are double tough, and Roman Reigns is also from that family, like you mentioned earlier. And but I'll tell you what, the Attitude Era was absolutely the best. They pushed the envelope on everything, and now there's no more competition. So you're seeing the level drop.
Yeah, a few more here. Eli also saying Kucherov annoys me, but he's really, really good. Yeah, for certain. That's one of those things where, again, you hate him. You'd love to have him on your team, but you freaking hate him if he's not on your team.
He's really good. He's top 5 player in the league, right? Let's be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, for certain he is. For certain he is. We have something else there as well here, Grumpy. Now, this is a little baseball news here. I would say I wanted you to take a look here at this clip. Maybe you have a different opinion than I do, but this is a clip where Christian Yelich was deemed that he was rounding the base here, making an attempt to round the base. Therefore, after he ran through first, he was ruled that he could be tagged out there. I want you to just take a look here, Grumpy, and react here to this.
He's still standing on the line.
And you don't have to be a mouth reader to be able to kind of get the gist as to what Christian Yelich is saying here to the ump, and he gets tossed. Here's the thing: when something like that would happen, and a ref would blow a call that miserably, as a player, I don't. If I'm not panting and dying, I don't know what I'd say to ref. I think I'd get a lot more verbal and I'd get a lot more aggressive than that. Is it right there out on the field? I'm like, come on! I do not get how he's ruled that he's making an attempt to go to second.
These younger umpires think they're part of the game. Number 84, there's a reason why you're wearing the long sleeve black 84 shirt. Okay, you know what? You miss a call like that, you're suspended without pay for a month. You never saw the old guys do that. You never, ever saw it. It's these young guys who just think that, hey, I'm a star. Everyone thinks they're a freaking star. You know what? You are nothing. You're a nothing, buddy, 84. You're absolutely nothing. To just put yourself in the game like that. So his foot is on the line here. It's on the line. He never turned. He thought about it for a second, but he didn't make a conscious effort.
You can maybe say that, hey, look, he technically took one step here and thought about moving for one step, but then tried to slow it down because he said, no, I actually don't want to declare myself as running the second. And man, oh man, if something like that would happen, he calls me out.
Who's the hippie out in right field? Well, second baseman.
I couldn't tell you, Grump. I don't watch enough of the Cincinnati Reds. I would feel the same exact anger that Christian Yelich is feeling here. I would go a little further. That I might get a little bit more angry than he would.
I don't know how these guys control themselves. I would have liked to see him knock these guys' teeth right down his throat. Oh, there's one of your teeth that looks like it's going to second base. Looks like I just knocked some of your teeth out. Looks like one of them just rounded second on the way to third. What's his name? John Libka. Yeah, loser.
I'll tell you one thing. They also threw out Joey Votto this game too, because they said he went around there on a pitch and he was like, "No, I did not." He was arguing balls and strikes to the third base, and he got tossed from this game too.
Well, that said, I don't know if he did. That's against the rules. Is arguing third. They don't let you do it. Now, here's the thing: some guys can do it and get away with it, and other guys can't.
And it's funny, you see all them popping up left and right saying, oh, well, hey, man, this is crazy that this is called, deemed as I'm rounding towards second, and this is not. Grumpy, I will show you here this portion as well. So now this is obviously different scenario. Aaron Judge.
He's just trying to avoid a guy.
I know. But I'm just saying, I'm like, right.
He's practically in right field.
That's what I'm saying. He's practically in right field. And I mean, like from the actual, from the line, I mean, yeah, he's got to be at least about 7 yards from the line. You know, you're talking about like 15 feet at least, bare minimum. And again, like he shouldn't be called out for this either, just like Yelich shouldn't have been called out for that. So
it's the umpires trying to think that that people actually pay to see them do something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't even know an umpire's name. You shouldn't even know his name. That's all I have to say. I mean, he's an embarrassment. You know what? It makes me go more and more. Let's just go to the robot umps. If these guys want to say that think they're just as big as the players, like I said, I never ever say anybody. Lipka's mom doesn't go and say, "Hey, guess what? What, Mrs. Ticket Buyer? My son's in the game today. Oh, really? What team does he play? Oh, he's the umpire. Get out of here, you old bag." That's what they would say.
Oh, goodness gracious, Grumpy. Oh, goodness. Moving right along here, though. He said, Aaron also says, thanks, boys, again for the laughs. Just being awesome. Thank you, guys. And Alexander also saying, Brady sucks.
You know, Alexander, I love Alexander. I almost feel like I'm a cat playing with a little mouse. Alexander's my little dolphin mouse. And I'm Tom Brady. I just bat him back and forth. His hatred for Tom Brady, I don't understand it. The guy's the best quarterback there ever was. And this year, I believe they play, and you'll see another loss for the Miami Dolphins and their pseudo quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua Tagovailoa. Anyway, so we got a comment here. Now, this is something Alexander wanted me to share here. And he says, is it me or does Uncle Leo look like Peter Stormare from Fargo?
Oh, my gosh, he does. Skarsgård, yeah. I'll tell you what, how old does he look? You got to make that bigger because is he playing for the Russian team right now?
Okay, that's not Russia, Grumpy. I don't think that's from Russia. I don't know what team he's playing there for. I can't zoom in on that anymore, unfortunately, Grumpy. That's as zoomed in as I'll be able to get that. But let me go ahead and show you. I'll show you here the picture, the comparison picture that is. But man, oh man, I saw it, Alexander. I thought it was just spot on. I enjoyed you sending this here to me. But this is just to show you what he looks like.
Yeah, like I said, if you take a look, if Leo looks at that picture of him playing hockey, I'm like, yeah, that looks like it. I think he was 50 at the time. You look at that picture of Leo. If he looks at that picture, he has to say to himself, you know what? I'm too old to be playing this game right now. Oh, see, that's a bad look. I'm sorry, his helmet doesn't fit. Looks like it's half popped off. Some guy's doing a number from behind on Leo there. I don't even know what's going on, but he looks like he's surprised. Maybe he's Brad Marchand getting ready to lick him in the face again.
Oh, goodness gracious. Moving right along.
Why does he generate that type of reaction in other hockey players? He wants to get licked. Guys jumping him from behind. Leo surprised. I don't know what's going on, but he seems to elicit that type of reaction from other male hockey players.
Oh, goodness gracious. Also, Aaron, John P. saying, were you all as surprised as I was that Argentina beat Brazil?
Yeah, they had that one play, and that was it. They were not a threat the rest of the Brazil should have won that tournament. Like I said, the officiating was hideous. You could tell they were in the Argentina boat. Get Leo that title. He's never going to have another chance to win one. Finally have to give him one, even if he doesn't deserve it. So let's give him the neighborhood tournament. Give him that one. I know he's lost it 6 times before, but let's see if we can give it to him once.
Is that what you think? You think is that what UEFA did? Is that what FIFA did there? They said just like to go ahead and give, hey, we're going to go ahead and give you the World Cup, Qatar. It's only going to cost X amount of dollars in order to go ahead and give you that. They said we need to make sure Copa America that Leo Messi gets his. So now all the Ronaldo fans can't say he doesn't have a major tournament win there regarding his international play.
All I'll say is if I had somebody where the game was in the line, who would I want taking that penalty kick? It's not Lionel Messi. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. He's super clutch. And what's he, 36? What's Leo, 33? Let's see what Leo's doing at 36.
Hey, the crazy thing is too, right? He only played to the round of 16. Ronaldo, he won the Golden Boot there for Euros 2020. So anyway, moving right along there. Alexander also said there, the umps are one of the main reasons why baseball has been horrible a couple of years.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, no, actually, it's not the umpires why baseball's been terrible. It's the analytic geeks. That's why. It's like, hey, the guy hits the ball over here. It's like if you're never good enough to play, you coach, right? Well, it's these guys watching because guess what? Instead of them getting out of the house and swinging a bat, they sit in there and they break out their little slide rules and their little calculator. Let's go. What if it goes over here? Hey, you see how he hits it over here all the time? Get on my little pocket square and see how they could go. Let me tell you something. They've turned baseball into a real drag. The shift, as effective as it is, but I blame the players on that. Hit the ball the other way. It just shows how stupid the players are. You know how you get them out of the shift? Hit the ball the other way. Or here's another one, right? Everything's about launch angle, spin rate. I mean, who the hell is actually out there checking the number of rotations per pitch? Is that your job? Is that what you do? Is that what you're getting paid to do? I'm stunned. I mean, has it gotten you a world title? All you need is a guy in the back hitting on a trash can. You don't need to know spin rate. Have a guy out the back telling you what the pitches are. That makes it a lot easier. What's the difference?
Bam. Off-speed pitch coming. Bam.
Like I said, but it's like everything: home run, walk, strikeout. Hey, it's not even fun. It's not even fun. There's a reason why baseball viewership is down. People aren't watching, and it's too bad because there are some amazing young talents coming up in major leagues right now, but people don't care. When you have your World Series games not starting until 8:45 at night, how are the kids going to watch that? You think they're going to watch a game that goes 4 hours long till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning on a school night? It's not going to happen. When I was a kid, most of the games were during the day. World Series games were during the day. I mean, even if it started 4:30 in the afternoon, you could catch the last 6 or 7 innings. I mean, we loved the baseball back then. Now it's like, ugh. I mean, and here's the thing: the guys are tremendous talents, but it's like, throw the ball, hit the ball, catch the ball. I don't care. Don't go out to the mound every 10 minutes. Every time they try to fix something, the union steps in. Oh, we can't do that. We didn't bargain for that. Stop taking the fun out of the game. You killed the golden goose. Killed it.
Killed it. Aaron G there said, yeah, it's so bad. Umpires, you get better and get a better understanding of the game. Also says Angel Hernandez needs to retire live baseball and quit being an umpire. He blows every single call almost.
Well, you can't get rid of them. Like I said, there's another thing. You screw up a call like that, call them into the carpet. All right, bro. You know what? You missed about 6 straight pitches. You called a pitch that was 8 inches outside a strike to cost the team a game. Then you toss the guy. You know what? I'm sitting you for a month. Let's make it 2 months, no pay. You go out there and panhandle for food.
Alexander also saying Giannis, the Greek freak with 18 points in the first half, up 60-45 entering the third quarter. And he also says, Grumpy, you got to do stand-up. You got to go out there and do stand-up. No, I don't think Grumpy would be good at stand-up.
I would be good at stand-up. Thank you.
He said they also need to stop with the 7-inning doubleheaders.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so guys who no-hitters, they don't count because it's only 7 innings. I mean, why? Oh, because the games are too long. Well, you want to know the games are too long? Because you have a strike zone that's like this big. I mean, it's like, come on. You know what? It's supposed to be from the knees to the shoulders or the letters, which is right here.
Yeah.
Unless you're – here's the thing. Anything below the belt is a ball. So you're just taking like a foot and a half away of a lower part of the strike zone. It's ridiculous. Make everything a strike. Swing at it.
He also says they need to ban the shift. But John P. said, as a lifelong Jets fan, I will honestly admit Brady does not suck. That's a reality. Yeah, Brady's good.
That's good. Right. I mean, and here's the thing. I think Brady, people hate Brady for a number of reasons. Number one, he's a good-looking kid. Number one, he wins all the time.
That's number 2. So number 3.
Okay. number three. Well, A, right? Well, A, like remember Home Alone?
2 C's.
No, that's right. That's like Home Alone, right? 1 and C and 3, like that. So I'm playing Buzz right now. Okay. So number 1, good looking. Number 2, wins all the time. Number 3, he married a freaking supermodel wife. And it seems like everything he leaves a team that's been great for 20 years, goes to the worst team record-wise in the history of sports, winning percentage, and they win a Super Bowl first year. I could see why, you're a guy who watches him and hates him. I could see why you hate him, but I just admire him because he's just that good. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. And he said if Brady went to the CFL, he would be a big CFL fan.
Oh, Alexander would be a CFL fan, though? That's nice to know.
Oh, no. And Aaron's saying, I love it, Grumpy. Alexander was saying the Dolphins started the demise of the Patriots.
No.
I'm not too sure about that one. He says Deflategate and Spygate.
He's so bitter. He's so unhappy.
We're not getting that started. There's one thing I wanted to mention that I think is worth it's going to be, I think, noteworthy here. Now, Les Miles, his legacy's already been tarnished with what went on there at LSU with the scandal regarding the students, and that was obviously an issue. But there's been some recent reports here coming out just as of today. They wrote this in the paper. I think it's I'm trying to remember what it is. The Kansas City Star, I believe it is, came out there, and they were talking about an ex-player who had a run-in there with some players, and they're talking about the management of the entire issue. It does not paint Les Miles in a good picture at all. It doesn't paint Kansas athletics in a good picture at all, and it's just a bad situation from start to finish. Grump, I know I sent it to you. Did you have a chance to kind of read and glance over that, Grumpy?
Yeah, I did. Long story short, there was a guy.
Name is Caperton Humphreys. Guy was a fullback. Walked on, earned himself a scholarship. He lived over top of a few other football players who were in an apartment below him. The players were selling drugs underneath him. He did not like that. He confronted them about it. They did not like that. They loosened the lug nuts on his tire. They allegedly loosened the lug nuts on his tires, where his wheel almost fell off. He filed a police report. They came up. They were not happy about it. And all in this, the fullback who was having these issues with the people underneath him who were selling drugs there on the team, his dad is good friends with somebody you'll see here at the top of the article named David Reed. He's a senior associate athletic director and compliance and student services at Kansas. So again, he had some sort of pull. And, it's kind of funny here in the inner workings. They leaked all the text messages to it, and they've got all those posted all over the place. Long story short, the players apparently were confronted by Les Miles saying, hey, you need to cut it off there with the drugs, the selling of drugs, and the animal abuse. And they got into it a little bit more once the police report was filed. They went upstairs, 10 individuals there with baseball bats and weapons, telling him that they need to stop. Again, these are all what the claim is at the time period. We haven't heard the reports there from the defendant, but they've come out there and they said, hey, they, I assume, threatened him not to do anything, keep his mouth shut. I don't know. They got into issues, arguments. They threatened him. Long story short, it led to this guy, Caperton, wanting to have a meeting with Les Miles and the players just to sweep this under the rug or to have no issue with it. Les Miles said, well, I'm deny the request for a meeting, but if you guys need to settle this, you could settle this in board drills. You could settle this in one-on-ones out there on the football field. When I heard that, I was just like, holy shit.
Les Miles is an asshole of the highest order. There's a reason why he left in disgrace at LSU, and the same thing happened to Kansas. Here's what's going to happen. Now, here's the thing. Are these things allegations? Yes. Do I believe they happened? Absolutely. And you say, well, how can you say that, Grumpy? None of these things, everything is hearsay or this, that, the other thing. Well, Kansas University bribed the kid to leave the school. That's what they did. And
they said if you leave the school, just to provide some context, if you leave and determine to do your schooling remote online, this was in 2019. So before any of the COVID or anything like that, if you do your schooling remote, you do your schooling back at West Virginia, we're going to go ahead and pay the tuition. We're also going to give you your football stipend and a few other items, which wound up totaling around $50,000 to take his schooling and go home and do his schooling at home.
And they They paid his family to travel 58 cents a mile to drive back. They paid to have all his stuff sent. You know what they call that? They call that a bribe.
And this was all under the all underneath the hood of you are not allowed to disparage or speak about this issue, so you had to keep it hush hush. So it definitely looks a little like a bribe.
It is a bribe. That's exactly what it is. But here's what's going to wind up happening. Les Miles is never going to get a job. Those 4 guys, because now it's a criminal investigation now since these things came out. All of a sudden now, but why did it happen, right? Why did it happen? Because the 4 kids were defensive starters for Les Miles. So they're like, I don't care what this other kid, I could care less if he's getting bullied, if they kill him on the road. I could care less because they're guys who are performing on my football team. This is big time college football athletics, boys and girls. This is what it is. And Les Miles is one of those purveyors of everything that's bad about college athletics. We don't care about the people as individuals. Here's the thing. He should be trying to get those other kids to fly the straight and narrow instead of just dumping it off and just blaming the kid, blaming the victim, right? Victim shaming. Isn't that a big no-no nowadays, right? Victim shaming. We're not allowed to do that. But I don't see anybody standing up for this kid, right? They come out and they attack him not physically, but verbally. They go into his apartment, attack him, his father, his 15-year-old brother. His mother was there. I mean, it was disgraceful, right? He's a racist. Why? I don't know. But these guys were acknowledged to have been dealing drugs through the guy who was with Kansas, right? So now they're paying the kid off. Well, you know what's going to happen? Like I said, Les Miles not going to get another job. This guy Reed's going to get fired. The athletic director is going to get fired at Kansas. And this kid is going to make a boatload of money from Kansas University, and good for him. And those kids are going to get popped. They're going to get arrested. You watch.
Well, I can't say all that. I will say one thing. Les Miles should not have another coaching job ever again. I mean, hey, you take the clock back. LSU was marred with incidents left and right that just happened to pop its head up, just recently. I mean, I want to say that was in the last calendar year. And now this happens. It makes me wonder, at LSU, he was obviously even had more leeway, I think, than what he had at Kansas. Because think about this, right? They did everything they can to make sure that this problem went away at Kansas University. I always wonder, like, hey, what it's like to be a fly on the wall with some of these individuals. Not all these coaches are bad, but I'm saying you get some of them where you're just kind of left scratching your head saying, man, oh man, I wonder what else they're doing. I see items like this coming, to the forefront. What else have they done? What else is, what other skeletons are in those closets? I saw this today, and again, I'm sure more items are going to come out. It's going to be interesting to see how the story develops, but I think it's going to definitely further mar Les Miles' legacy. That's for certain.
He leaves LSU, right? And the only job he's able to get is Kansas. And Kansas, I mean, hey, I'm not saying the university's a bad university, but they're not a great football school.
No.
And you would think coming off of national championships, multiple national championships at LSU, he should be able to go pretty much anywhere he wants. But he's forced to go to Kansas. And where does he go from here? I don't even know if he has another job. But if he does, I'm going to guarantee you it's a way lesser school than Kansas.
He will not be getting a job after this. Like I feel like the original, the big one was the sexual misconduct with the students. That's not good. And then this one, I think, is just, the needle that breaks the camel's back.
This is
the last piece of hay that breaks the camel's back.
This is worse than that. You're telling, in essence, players, and here's the thing, this guy's a backup fullback, whatever he is, and the other guys are defensive, starters. They're probably more physically gifted than this guy. I mean, and you're giving it, and it's 4-on-1, so you're giving them, beat the hell out of them in practice. That's how you're going to do it. Now, the kid also later in the story, he's got to go to see a psychiatrist. I don't care about any of that, honestly. I think that's just to help a lawsuit that will be coming for certain. But he certainly shouldn't have been treated like that. And instead of actually taking care of the problem, which were those 4 kids, he decides to victim shame, which,
I'm not saying he's deciding to victim shame. He decides to go ahead and sweep it under the rug and says, I'm not going to worry about you. You're not as valuable as XYZ player. He thinks that, I'm telling him to stop with the drugs. I'm telling him to stop with the animal abuse. But man, oh man, that's just one of those items you're just kind of left scratching your head saying, Les Miles, do you not have,
He told
Go ahead.
what the article actually said was he just told him to calm down on that stuff because the athletic director has gotten wind of this. That's all he said. He didn't say, he just said, be careful. He didn't even tell him to stop. He just said, be careful. You could deal drugs and you could beat the hell out of animals. That's cool. But, just keep it on the down low, fellas. And by the way, you're starting next Saturday.
So that's one of those items. Again, this was posted. This was posted today. So it is going to be very interesting to see how that story continues to develop, ladies and gentlemen. That's one I'm going to be keeping my eye out for certain. That being said, got a few comments here to run through, Grumpy Old Man. John P. there says Lou needs to work some Kappa magic in these next coming days. For certain he does.
I think he's lost all his little pixie dust out of his bag a long time ago.
God almighty. And Alexander says Les Miles is a freaking idiot. For certain he is.
Yep.
And again, like that's just dumb. It makes you wonder who else has items like that, skeletons in the closet we don't hear about. But I'm sure he's got plenty.
They all do it. And here's the thing, they just got him on this. I'm going to guarantee you there are probably another 50 or 60 incidents that you don't hear about. That's what college athletics is all about. These coaches have total power over everything. They can sweep anything they want under the rug whenever they want. It's all about the money. These kids they're using the kids to generate money for the university. The kids are playing there so they get their shot at the brass ring, which is the NFL. And they kind of both use one another in that regards. But, you're supposed to be there to make what college should be about is to get the student athletes and students, period, ready for life. That's what it should be. And you know what? If you see them going down a bad path, you kind of correct them. Hey, you kind of don't want to do it like this. Give them the reason. But this guy doesn't seem to care about that. It's all about W's and L's to him.
Mm-hmm. And then Aaron G also said Miles has no idea how to coach anyone and any other team. He was a good coach, but the thing is, he was a guy who could recruit. That's for certain. Again,
see, that's what he could do. He recruit. I never thought. I'm like, who is this guy? He makes so many mistakes on the field and they win anyway. I never understood I'm like, how the hell does this guy win anything? It was just the talent he had, and he is a wonderful recruiter, masterful recruiter.
Makes you wonder what he did to be an excellent recruiter too, doesn't it? Hey, that's legal.
Make it rain.
Oh, goodness, Grump. I love it, man. Is there anything else you want to say here before we wrap things up? Again, remember, we're going to be live next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Best way to make sure you don't miss out on any of the action, again, as I mentioned earlier, make sure you subscribe. Follow us there on Twitter and like us on Facebook so you don't miss out on any of the updates. But, Grump, anything you want to say here before we wrap things up today?
I just want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. From TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.
Well, thank you, Grumpy Old Man, and thank you everybody who tuned in there today. This is something Grumpy and I are really looking forward to getting launching there off the ground. The TJ and the Grumpy Old Man Show. Thank you everybody who listened, and thank you again, Grumpy.